Juanita, tell me, what was the most difficult scene that you had with Lana in Imitation of Life?
Let's see now, the most difficult scene was the scene that I did. I had to laugh because it was a death scene. Here I'm stretched out, dying. And the director, he looked at me, he said, Juanita, you're not supposed to be crying. You're supposed to be dying. I couldn't stop. I couldn't have said. She was so beautiful. You know, Lana, she's talking to, and talking, don't leave me, Juanita. And she was saying, don't leave me, whatever my name was in the show. I can't remember. What was it? Annie, don't leave me, Annie. Don't leave me. That's what she was saying, you know. And here I'm, tears is running down my eyes. And the director said, he looked at me, he says, Juanita, you are dying. You're not supposed to be crying. And that was the most difficult scene I ever did. But there was another one that I did, and Lana, oh, she was just absolutely priceless. Now, this whole scene was just me, and Lana was off camera, and she was talking to me, you know, feeding me the lines and all that. Well, I did the take 23 times. 23 times. Not right, not one time. And then the director, he would put me on the camera so he could see what I was doing, and the muscles in my face. You could see them. They were just going like that. He said, Juanita, we can't have that. But Lana stuck right with me. She said, don't worry. She said, we'll get it. We didn't get it that day. But when I came back the next day, I had it. I was ready for it. But that was very difficult. But she was an angel. She was just so, I tell you, she helped me so much. She really did. But, you know, the producer, he said to me the first day, Ross Hunter, he said to me the first day, he says, Juanita, he said, if you're no good, the picture's not going to be any good. Now, that's a heck of a thing to put, you know, on somebody's shoulder the very first time. So I had all that on my mind, but thank goodness I had wonderful, wonderful help from Lana. She was just gracious, really.
And you said something to me on the phone about how she said, don't mind about me, I cry a lot.
Yes, that's what she said. She said, because every little thing, you know, that I was doing with her practically, there was tears in her eyes, you know. And that's what she said. She said, don't. She told me, don't look at me. Don't look at me because I cry a lot. Oh, she was so sweet. She was such a nice person. And she gave me every opportunity, which stars don't do that too often. Because I've worked with several stars. But Lana was and is a star. She was just beautiful from the time she walked on the set until the day she left. She was just, you wouldn't want to work with a nicer person than Lana. She was just great. And we maintained our friendship. We really did until she died. We maintained our friendship. And she'd call me occasionally, and then I'd want to go see her where she lived, and she said, oh, no, don't come. I'm too sick. I don't want you to see me like this. But that's where Lana was. She was just absolutely charming.
I wanted to ask you, Glenn Rose, who was Lana's personal manager, said to me when I started the film, he said, please make sure people understand her, that she had the greatest sense of humor. Do you recall anything that she told you that, like, you know, was she bouncy? Was she, people said she was great to the guys on the set. She would always like to tell jokes. Did you see that side of her, or since it was after the Stompanato thing, she was more sedate?
I think it was, something had been taken away. She wasn't very bouncy at all. I think the Stompanato thing had sort of killed her spirit for a while. And she was trying to overcome it, if you know what I mean by that. But she wasn't bouncy like they say she had always been. You know, they say she was such a joy, but she was not that way. She was carrying a very heavy load, you could tell that, you know. But she would overcome it, and whatever it was at the very end of the show, when I died in the production thing, and she started crying. She finally let down, and she started crying. She couldn't stop. She cried for 3 days. She came back on the set, and her face was so swollen she couldn't work. See, we shot that scene early in the picture, which the director said he should not have done that. He should have waited till the very last, but we shot it in the early part.
So tell me all about that again. It was after the Stampanado thing.
Oh yeah, well after the Stampanada thing, well she as you said something about her being bouncy. Well, they said that she was a joy, doing movies, and she also played a lot of little pranks and jokes and things, but that had all left her because with the Stampanada thing and her daughter, that involvement, it just sort of took her spirit away. And like she said, I don't know what happened to me, Juanita. She said, but I seem to cry so easily. So we shot the death scene, my death scene. We shot that earlier in the movie, which the directors found out that he should not have done it. Because when she started crying, and when I'm dying, or when she started crying, that day she cried for 3 days. She couldn't stop crying, but she came back on the set, and when we saw her face, it was just swollen. Everything was just swollen. So the director let her go for 3 days. Yeah, so she had lost that Lana Turner that I guess most of you knew. I only knew her, from the movie, but I had seen her in just about all of her movies because I was a fan of Lana Turner's, and to be able to get a chance to work with her, having been a fan, with her all these years, it was really a delight. Really, really, really a delight.
So you wouldn't call her temperamental?
Oh, I saw none of that. I had heard that she was that way, but she didn't bring it with her. No, she didn't. She left that back where she used to be. She didn't bring that with her. No, she did not.
Now, a movie like Imitation of Life that has 2 women as heads of a household, that was a very ahead of its time movie, wasn't it?
Well, I think so, because even now, when it's shown, they say it's a classic. I don't know. But at that time, not only was she the head of the household, we both were head of the household, because we both were striving toward success, and she was trying to strive toward success in her own way, and I was too, in my own way, and take care of our children. I think that was the main thing, and that understanding, because, during that time, that's been, 29, 30 years ago, the only thing that you did in a household would be the maid, take care of the children. But I think I was more than just a maid. I think we were friends. I think that was so important that we portrayed that, the friendship, and that was what we had. It wasn't just that I worked for her and she became a star. Well, I became a star in my own work for her, taking care of raising the children and all. So I became a star too, and I think we showed that kind of love for each other, that we loved each other, loved our children.
Cheryl said a very interesting thing to me. She said that when she saw her mother with Sandra Dee, little blonde like Lana,
Mm-hmm.
that she thought, that's the daughter my mother should have had. Someone who looked like her. And she's so uncomfortable with the fact that she really didn't look anything like Lana. Did you ever meet Cheryl? Was she incarcerated at the time Imitation of Life was being done? Was she in jail?
No, Lana brought her on the set. And she didn't look like Lana at all. I can understand that. She looked exactly like her father. She was dark, dark hair and all of that. So, that could have had some effect on her, to think about it. I hadn't thought about that. That with Sandra Dee, playing her daughter and blonde and all of that, and she's just the opposite, that might have had some effect on her. I hadn't thought about that. Really hadn't. But she did. She looked just like her father had her alone, all by himself.
How were they together?
Who?
The two of them, Lana and Cheryl.
I don't know. I only saw Cheryl on the set about 2 or 3 times. I don't know how the relationship was. I
Well,
have
I mean,
no.
how did they seem on the set? Because that was right after the Stompanato thing.
Well, I don't. I can't really comment on that because I was so busy trying to, straighten myself out.
I understand.
I don't know if they were close. Is that what you mean, like mother and mother and
Well, were
daughter?
they sad? Were they joking? Were they?
No, no joking. No joking. Not at all. It was just that she had brought her there. I don't know if she had brought her there to see what was going on with the movie or what. But no, there was no joking, and there was no. I don't know. There was nothing too warm like to me. Like my mother and I, we were very warm, and everybody's not like that though. We were very warm and hugging, and kissing and things like that. But no, no. I think she just brought her because evidently she wanted her to see what was going on, what she was doing. And I'm glad she did bring it. I'm glad I had the opportunity of meeting her, And she was a nice-looking girl. But she wasn't a blonde, but she nice-looking, but did look like her father.